Hi, I'm Susan, and I am the Pilates instructor today with Amy here. And I'm actually doing my teaching repertoire 2, and we're going to be focusing on stability, mobility, strength, and a warm down. Okay, so we're actually going to, we have already actually done a warm up. So we've moved from our resting state to an active state. So now we can go straight into our stability exercises. So I'm going to be doing 2 stability exercises. First of all, starting with our fundamentals, and then we go into the progressive with the exercises as well. So Amy has already done warm up, as I said before. So I'm just going to go behind Amy, and I just checked with Amy before just to make sure that she's okay. If I need to touch to change any positions that you might be in if you're not doing it correctly, and Amy has said all good. So we are good to go. So I'm just going to go behind the mat, and Amy is just going to lay down for me for the first exercise. So this is our stability exercises. Okay, so with this first one, what we're going to be doing is bringing our knees up to 90 degrees. Amy's going to be imprinting her back into the floor as well, and making sure that she doesn't have an arch there. So you've got to make sure that your abs are nice and tight for me too, please, Amy. You're going to point those toes, and you're going to take one leg down to the floor, keeping the other leg nice and still, bring it back up and alternating. Breathing while you're doing this as well. So it's just a toe touch, taking it down and lifting. So this here is just our first with the fundamental. So we're just taking it down and lifting. So we're just doing 5 sets. So it's just one on each side. And then once Amy has finished doing that one, what we're going to be doing is going into a double leg stretch. So with this double leg stretch, Amy's going to be bringing her head off the floor just slightly, and she's going to take her hands and put them around, bend her knees in, both of them. So she's going to hug through the knees. She's going to extend the legs out. At the same time that she does that, she's going to extend her arms above her head and then bring them around and through. So it's really stretching out, bring it around and through and up. So making sure, once again, that we stay nice and stable. As you take the arms back, making sure that they go back in the same alignment, not one is further up than the other, and then pulling through. So we're just doing 5 sets of this. Now this is actually one of the exercises that we use in strength, but we're using it in stability. She's also making sure she has that nice C curve, maintaining it in her lower back as she's coming up and hugging through. And then pop the legs back down again. You can have a little rest if you like, Amy. Pull your knees into your chest and have a breath. Because what we're going to be working on next is we're going to be turning and going into the single leg side kick. Okay, so you're just going to turn onto your side for me. So with this one, you're going to make sure that your hips are stacked and that your shoulders are stacked as well. You can either be laying right down or you can be up on your elbow. You choose which one works for you. You're going to be having that knee, the front knee can come into 90 degrees if you wish. So we're going to be lifting it there and bringing it in. And so what we're going to be doing here is we are going to be doing the single leg side kick. So you're just going to be taking it forward with the dorsiflex, so taking it forward for 2 counts, 1, 2, and then bring it back with a pointed toe. Making sure that you don't take it back too far so that you're not arching that lower back. Good stability right through the hip here. Once again, we're breathing out, we're aiming. Breathing in and out. So we're taking it forward for 2. So we're just going to pump. When we take it forward, we take it forward 1, 2, and then bring it back. We're just going to do 5 sets of that one in, and then bringing it back. And then once again in, making sure we stay stable. We're moving through the hip with those abs nice and tight as well. Now bring that back to neutral for me. Keeping that leg up so that it's equal with the hip right through to the ankle. And then what we're going to do is circle that foot forward and around for 5. So this is the progression from the kick forward and back. So the kick forward and back was our fundamental. Now we're going to progression. Then we're going to switch and go the other way. Making sure that we try to stay stable, that we're not rocking around too much through the upper body, keeping it nice and stable through the hip as well. And then once we've done that, we're going to switch around to the other side because we can't do one leg without the other. So if you want to just come up and then go to the other side, once again, extending. Now, if you wanted to, you could actually extend that bottom leg out as well. And if you wanted to do that, you've got to make sure that your hips are still stacked. You might need to lean forward just slightly, and then you're going to take that forward again. So dorsiflex with the foot forward and then back. And so then go forward again, keeping nice and stable. Now, if you find that you're moving around a little bit too much, it might mean that you might need to bend that knee once again and into 90 degrees just to make sure that you're staying nice and still, taking it forward and then taking it back. It's all about stability. So forward and then bringing it back again. And then what we're going to do is those circles. So making sure once again, it's not too high. You're just here. You're going to circle around for 5 with that pointed toe. Once again, keeping nice and stable, keeping the upper body relaxed as well, and then taking it back to the other way again. Excellent. Okay, so now we're just going to come back onto our backs again, and we're going to work through some mobility. Okay, so with the mobility one, we're going to do some roll-ups. Now, once we finish with this roll-up, we're actually going to go right through to a seated stretch as well, just because of the fact that we do want to stretch out through our hamstrings because of the next lot of exercises that we're going to be doing. So with a roll-up, if you can take your hands up and above your head for me, making sure once again that we're all stable, scooping up through your abdominals here, tightening up as well through your hamstrings and your legs. So we've got a nice stable background there. And then as you're lifting, you're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to lift up nice and gently from the floor, coming up and through, not jerking, to here. And then I'd like you to go forward and really stretch out through those hamstrings. So then bring it back up again, taking the hands up. And then we're going to restack back down again. So taking it back down nice and gently, making sure that you're breathing right through. Hands go up and over. So we're going to try and do 5 of these, see how we go with them. So we're lifting up, making sure that we're not jerking, staying nice and stable through the neck as well, and then taking it back again, so right through. So with this one, we're doing our spinal articulation. Remember, if you need to, you can have your knees bent slightly, but Amy's doing this really, really well. So lifting up, pressing through, making sure you're lifting, and then a seated spine stretch. So adding this, and then taking it back down. So we've got that pelvic stability as you're going back down as well. Is that 5? Yeah. So we've got 5. So now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do a single leg stretch. So with this, we're going to once again make sure that we have that imprint of the spine into the floor, into the mat. So you can just feel it there, but you're not actually pushing down posteriorly through your spine there. So what I'd like you to do is to pull your knee up towards you, bring your head and shoulders up, and then grab the outside of the ankle and then the inside, and then you're going to take the leg out and extend it. So now you're going to pull in and switch, and at the same time as you're pulling in, you're making sure that you stay nice and stable. The reason why you have the hand on the outside and the inside is for that line of pulling through and making sure that we stay stable right throughout. And so we're just going to do 5 sets. So it's just right and left. And we do 5, making sure that we're breathing, keeping nice and stable through the top again. We're strengthening through the abdominal muscles, and we're tracking our knee up to our cheekbone as we're doing this. Now what we're going to do is be really tricky once we've done the 5. And then Amy's going to extend one leg up. We're going to do a hamstring pull. So she's going to have one leg out and the other leg down. She's going to bring that body back up again. So it's up towards, and you're really going to pull and through to the other one. So we've got that hamstring pull coming up. It's a major dynamic stretch right through your hamstring as well, making sure that the hips stay nice and stable as well, and your pelvis. So we're really lifting and using those abdominals and pulling up. So we're maintaining contact with the lower back and the mat. We've got a nice long line with that dynamic stretch, as I was saying, through the hamstring as you're doing this. So these are our mobility exercises. So doing a really good job. Just pull those knees into your chest if you want to, and just have a breath. You can rock around a little bit, because now what we're going to be doing is going into the strength. So the strength exercises are what we're going to be doing to really work on your core and your strength right through legs, core, hip flexors, and keeping the shoulders nice and neutral as well. So we're going to be working with 100 to start with. So with 100, I would like you to bring your knees up to 90 degrees. So this is just the fundamental one with the hundreds. You're going to have your hands out down next to your body. You're going to bring your chest up, keeping the neck just tucked in slightly, and then you're going to pump the arms, and you're going to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 out. So now this is just the fundamental part of the hundreds. And so now when Amy is stronger and we're going to progress, she can take those legs out nice and long, and then you're going to keep it there. Now, if Amy can, she will lower her legs down a little bit more, but if when she's lowering them down, if her back comes up and off the floor, then you bring it back into the here to the 90 degrees again. See how you're going, and then pressing back out again. So lifting back out and pushing. Excellent. So we're going to bring that in, have a break. You've done an awesome job again. Take a breath. Bit hard. Okay, so now Amy's going to roll over and we are going to do a front support plank. So it's just a front support. Now, if we were doing this with fundamental, you'd probably start on your elbows, but this is an actual progressive exercise with a front support. Because Amy is really good at doing these, then we can actually start with a progressive one. So with this plank, what we're going to make sure is that we have our shoulders and everything all lined up with each other. And you are going to make sure your scapula and your adductors, keep your scapula wide, your shoulder flexors to keep your chest lifted, keeping your hands forward to the front. Now Amy's going to take her right leg out straight, her left leg out straight. She's going to tuck that pelvis down as well to make sure that we've got that nice straight back here, looking out nice and neutral. We're just going to do this in a count of 6 seconds. Then Amy's going to bring her leg back in, the same leg that went out first, bring it back in and hold. Excellent. Now we're going to do that again with the other leg. So taking it back out, alternating, taking it out and hold. Now what we're going to do to progress with this one though is we're going to do a front leg lift. So what Amy's going to do for me now, she's going to lift up her right leg just slightly down and then left. So we're working here through your obliques and also through your glutes. Okay, nice and strong, keeping that stable. And then once you've done enough, Amy, you can bring that back in. You can do 5 and then bring in. Excellent. You can just stretch back if you like for a moment. Just take a breath. Excellent. Now we are going to finish with a nice warm down. Now with this, we are going to do a knee hip flexor stretch. So with this, what we're going to do is we're going to take that leg forward, and you're going to make sure that that foot is just out from the knee as well, so it's not directly underneath. You're going to lean that forward so you feel that stretch through that quad hip flexor. But if you don't want to lean too far forward, we're actually just going to press the pelvis back just a little bit, but keeping that nice flatness through the lower back as well, so you really feel that stretch through there. So we're just stretching through the quad hip flexor, stabilizing as well, and then bring it back, bring it up. Now just for a bit of a dynamic stretch, we're just going to do 3. We're just going to push forward and then pull back and then forward again and then back and then one more, taking it forward and then bringing it back again. Excellent. Did you feel that stretch? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to pull the other leg up and switch to the other side. So remember to tilt your pelvis posteriorly just slightly so that you're really getting that stretch. It means you don't have to go forward as far as we're pressing. Just make sure that this ankle's just out a little bit further from the knee, and then just pressing forward and holding. And now we're just going to do a little bit of dynamic. So coming back, pressing forward, and then coming back, forward, and then pulling back again. So you're keeping the spine still as if there was an imprint into the mat, as if you were laying down. Excellent job. Well done. Thank you so much. That flew. Thank you.